Welcome back, everyone, to Light All Fiends podcast. This is episode 45.
Yes, sir.
Big Scammer here.
Adamar.
And today we're going to be talking about the ending of To Hell with Being a Hero.
Had a lot of good parts. I'm not starting off negative like last time. The last 2 weeks I realized I was pretty negative. With good reason. I'm not doing it this time.
But me, to hell with the ending. Sorry.
I want to come on. No, I'm not going to do it again. Not 3 weeks in a row, bro.
I don't know. We kind of be getting hoed.
We have been, but I'm not starting there. Because the last 2 weeks it started negative. Let's start with the beginning. 476. It was a pretty good battle. Abyss King.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Abyss King versus Chi Wu. So right before this, guys, Chi Wu, Chi Wu, Chi Bong Bong, is fighting Abyss King. I think he's about to start, or he's.
They had literally just exchanged blows.
Yeah. So we started with them fighting, and the first beginning fight was pretty epic, I thought. And then they started doing this law of causality. Law of causality fight. They were like, I'm using the law of causality. No, it's on my side now. Because Abyss King used it, and then he got a power up, but then Chi Wu was getting wrecked by it. And then Abyss King was like, oh, I'm getting the repercussions of my bending the laws of causality.
Yeah, because he had made a wish or something, right? I don't know if it was a wish or...
I think he used all of the entities inside of him.
He used them to take the backlash.
Okay, yeah.
But what he did was, I think he looked into the future and kept trying to change it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's not something you're supposed to do. Or something like that.
So that's what I know he did before Chi Wu got there. But once Chi
that
Wu
was part of that was part of the problem.
Okay. But I felt like he did something else when Chi Wu was there to go crazier.
Yeah. He turned his will. He used his will to bend the laws of causality in the Abyss.
Yes.
And then he suffered the backlash from it from, the consciousnesses and then Flora.
So he absorbed Flora. That was pretty...
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was such a plot twist. I was like, when did this happen?
Because she was on her own, but she conquered a whole world by herself.
Yeah. That was impressive. That's also, she grew... she's not even exponential, bro. She just space jumped to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Her power levels are insane. Not even, what was that, a couple months?
Yeah.
And she went from basically malnourished slave, about to, an inch from death, technically died, to, one of the strongest heroes on Library besides, maybe 3-4 people.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was very insane. And we got the Abyss King... bending the will of causality. That was really cool.
No. Well, he used his will to bend it.
Yeah. He used his will to bend it.
And then he transformed into...
Super Abyss.
Yeah. The Abyss King became the Abyss.
But I think I don't know what you think, but I feel like the most proper way to call him is the Abyss God.
Yeah.
He, technically, was almost there. Kind of there for, that little bit where he was wrecking Chi Wu.
And then when he tried absorbing Chi Wu, he realized it's a different level.
Yeah,
man.
There's 9 ranks to the gods. And technically, they're saying maybe there's 10 ranks. So
well, that's just whatever, but
he barely reached rank 1.
Yeah.
And he was feeling himself. Chi Wu was whatever there is. They didn't really go into detail. 9 ranks, 10 ranks. She was Hell King.
Yeah.
So you can't. That's above the 10th rank. Or his 10th rank, we don't know. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, he stood no chance. As soon as he tried absorbing him, she was like, yeah, stop it, bro. And then Chi Wu actually tapped into his power there for a bit. And he was able to wreck the Abyss King. And then, do you know why I texted you now? Remember when I texted you and I was like, have you read To Hell with Being a Hero yet? And you were like, no. And I was like, I'm not going to say anything, but you'll know exactly what I was talking about when you read it.
So that's why I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that happened. I was
Okay.
which one is he talking about?
It was the first and it's in the first part of what we read. What do you think it was that I said that to?
Wait, first part of what we read?
Within the 50 chapters, 47 chapters we read, it was in the first 25. You don't know?
No.
Our man Philip died, bro.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was crazy.
That hit me like a rock, bro. He got
too.
So Abyss God, you know, he used one final blow to like what was it? He bended it again, or
no. So what happened was when he was suffering from the backlash from the law of causality, the universe, or what happened was when he was dying.
Yeah.
Flora was going to die with him, but
yes.
Shiwu forcibly stopped it and brought her back.
Mm-hmm.
But the universe was like, nah, she has to die with him.
So then it was Shiwu's turn to get the law of causality.
Backlash. And the Abyss King sent it to him, but then Philip did the same thing that he did and took it on himself.
Yeah, because the Abyss God was like, instead of targeting you, I'm going to destroy everybody around you, right? Yeah. He was going to destroy all the other crumbling worlds. Mm-hmm. That's what he was going to do. And then Chiwu, and then Philip took it, so nobody else would die. That was tough, bro.
Yeah, it was.
And then he was like...
That was sad.
And then they got back, and then Chiwu was like, oh, like, you're going to be fine, right? He's like, I'm fine, man. I'm fine.
So the only reason I couldn't think of that was because what happened later.
Okay, yeah,
that's why it just thought it kind of flew over my head. Cause I was like, what is he talking about?
I stopped reading right there. I took a break. I took a 1-day break. I was so sad, bro.
I was sad too, because I was like, I got rid of Philip.
He's been here since, I don't even know when, but like before chapter 100, I feel like.
I think so.
And like, this man's been at Chibu's side the whole time. They dedicated a whole, like, I think like 2 chapters to him like disappearing. Yeah,
because then I was going to chat. Chibu started crying.
Yeah.
Mr. Philip!
Yeah.
Oh man, that was sad.
He ran all the way from Shalia to the Salem Kingdom. Yeah. They said it took like 5 days or something like that of straight running without stopping.
Yeah, he was booking it.
And he got all the way there, and he had a dream of Philip right before Philip passed, because Philip passed in his dream, and they had like a bro moment, looked at the sunset, and like they had like a whole day together, like just hanging out with Philip, I guess, having like a real body. Yeah. And then it ended with like both of them looking out into the sunset and like the sun setting, and then Philip just disappearing. Mm-hmm. Chiwo goes back to the hill. He can't find Mr. Philip, man. Whew, Philip Salem, man.
It was sad.
That's his last name, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Philip Salem. That one hurt so bad. Then they did it perfectly, in my opinion.
They did. They really did.
They gave it like exactly enough so that like the reader really felt his loss, and like the characters felt the loss. Or I guess only really Chibu, because nobody else really knew he was there except like Evelyn
and Shihyun.
And like I think Byac. Yeah. And yeah, so it was perfect. It was perfect. And then no, actually, there was another good point. Right after that, we get the Cernitas battle, right?
Yes.
So we go back to Shalia.
So the Cernita battle was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it was super intense.
It was. So
I don't know what the fuck they were gonna do.
Oh, me either. They went insane. So what happened was, guys, we went back to Shalia, we destroyed the Abyss. Everybody was feeling good. They were wondering, did the Casabia League get attacked by the Cernitas? So they come back, the Abyss Subjugation Force, I'm gonna call it. Yeah. They get back to Shalia, and then this Abyss Subjugation Force got back to Shalia, and they were wondering, like, did the Cernitas take the opportunity to fight the Casabia League? And like that's what they were the most worried about, because the Casabia League would probably get wrecked by the Cernitas. Like it would be a prolonged battle, but they would probably lose. Yeah. And so they get back, and the Casabia League's like, nothing happened, man. We've been looking. The Last Dragon's been scouting. Nothing happened, and then all of a sudden, what happened, bro?
Bro, the Cernitas, they're just chilling. Last Dragon's like. And Hunter like, bro, something's going on. Everyone's like scared. Mm-hmm. It's just like, what could happen? Mm-hmm. We did get a couple hints from Shihu, because he was just like, the universe was like, you know what? Since you didn't kill Flora, I'm coming at you, bitch.
Yeah, so technically...
So we had to guess, like, it was going to help the Cernitas. Yeah. We didn't know what way. Yeah. So the Last Dragon's like, well, they don't know, but she was guessing. Mm. So the Last Dragon's like, fuck it, I'm going to go scout. Yeah. So they go into Sunya's territory. Mm. we see a cocoon.
A nest.
And that's the last thing we see.
Yeah. For real.
So, so then...
Wait, but one thing was the law causality, just to make sure Philip took the brunt of it, but he couldn't take all of it.
Yeah, so it was just like he gained a reprieve, but it was going to come back later to haunt Chiwu.
And they got it went through the Cernitas, the will. And I guess like the will itself pulled up on the Cernitas and was like, hey, we'll offer you power. Mm-hmm. You know what you must do.
Yeah. So.
And then an epic explosion.
And then we get the last dragon sends a message to Chi-hyun. And she's like, listen carefully. We're fucked.
That's exactly what she said. Yeah, that's so accurate. That's the best way to put it.
But pretty.
Okay.
In my head, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly what it was.
Basically, what the recording was like, you heard just screaming everywhere in the background, which is the Casablanca getting slaughtered. And the last dragon was like, even if you and I get together, we're not gonna beat this thing.
Yeah.
But she said she was like, maybe if we get Chiwu as well, we might be able to do it. But yeah, she was saying like, it's Jover.
It's Jover.
Yeah. And then, in the middle of the call or at the end of the call, pretty much you just hear an explosion. Because the authors got her eyes widened. They were like, that's how she described it. And then the call cut off.
We lost the last dragon.
We just lost the Casablanca.
Basically,
got annihilated.
The 90% of the last dragon and the
99%. Because what was left in the Shalia was like,
was it? Yeah.
Was nothing.
Well, I don't know. They said the main force of the Casablanca, so I'm gonna give it like 80. I'm gonna say 90%.
Okay, 90 is which is still obviously.
No, it's devastating. Yeah, 90%. That's like kills 7 billion people right now.
Yeah,
like you gonna feel that. And so it was like felt like mass. It basically felt like a mass extinction event.
Yeah, the second coming of it, because
hey, relax with that second coming. And so then the rest of the Shalia is like, we just won this war, off to another one. And they go and they confront Cernitas.
Yeah, everyone was freaking out, but because I mean, especially all the Boogaboos, they were like freaking out. They're like, the last dragon, no, because for them, last dragon's death is like Chi-hyun dying.
Yeah, exactly. It's huge.
They're just like, that's just not. So yeah, so then they leave.
Wait, right before that, we got to talk about the experience they gained from beating the Abyss God.
Oh, okay. So a lot of people ranked up.
Ruamu hit
platinum.
No, he hit master.
Oh, master. That's right. He hit master.
And Emmanuel hit diamond, I believe, and he was Emmanuel and Unael hit diamond, and they were sad because they couldn't hit master because the god said you wouldn't have made it this far without Chiwu. Like Ruamu would have
done it
by himself. I like that. Yeah. I like that they did that. Ramu, first captain, soul master.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. And then our big boy,
Chiwu, he hit Challenger. They gave him Grandmaster.
I was so shocked by that.
And then they were like, well, do you want to be a challenger? He was like, challenger?
Did you think that was coming?
No.
It went right by me when it was like everybody was saying yes to him becoming a grandmaster, and then Labella was like, I don't know, and I was like, what else can he do? That was my first thought, and then she was like, how about challenger? And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. I was like, there's no way if someone says no, I'm gonna flip.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't want another test, and then I saw that, and I was like, oh, okay.
Bro, and they took forever to explain it. I was like, to be the challenger, you have to challenge. I'm like, hey, the challenger.
Yeah, you have to sort of. So how the gods explained that you have to challenge some sort of fate, or like not fate, but like something.
Well, you have to have some kind of. Well, this is when you're challenged. The way like I understood was like you just have to have something to
challenge.
What do you want to challenge?
Yeah. And it can be whatever it is.
Anything. It says, but however big it is, you need to offer up
a certain amount of points to at least have an even playing field or a favorable playing field. Like,
well, it's not even that, just to be like the right to challenge as well.
So my thing was, you have to offer 1 billion points to offer a challenge, but depending on how big your challenge is, 1 billion points might not be enough. Because the whole point of the challenge and the gods intervening in it is that they're trying to make it so that it's at least even playing field, or you have like at least a favorable advantage in your challenge, so that you'll like hopefully beat it. But if you don't offer, so the 1 billion is usually good enough for most like challengers. But sometimes if your challenge is too big, you need to offer more points.
Yeah, and she was challenging the universe. They're just like, we don't know.
No, yeah,
like, what you even need for this. But then obviously she had his points.
Yeah, like 2.1 billion.
What was that? He had 3 things.
He had 2.1 billion. He used Flora. He put Flora.
Oh yeah. So Flora pretty much, she offered her entire being like past, present, future.
Yep.
So we know in the future she would become like a hero that could rival them.
Yeah.
She had the Heaven's Vessel.
So she became basically, he bet Flora. She didn't get used up, but she will bet her. So basically, she's forever his tool to use as he wishes. And then the third thing was his Indra talisman, which would have summoned the ninth celestial Jade God, Jade Emperor.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. He gave that one, and that was enough to use it. And that was the very last talisman, supposedly. The very last talisman that that he had. Even said it at the time. This is my very last one. Yeah, you'll know how we're saying that later, guys. Watch till the end.
But after that, that's right before we found out about all the Last Dragon stuff.
Yeah.
And then after the meeting.
Oh, one quick side note. Chiwoo was feeling a little good about himself.
Yeah, that was.
And he showed up to Chi Hyung's and he was like, "Hey,
Mr. Choi Chi Hyun.
Yeah,
it's good today.
You talking to a challenger now, boy?
I'm challenger now." Oh, it was so
we switching spots, and Chi Hyun's like, "You know what you can get right now? A good ass beating." I thought that was like such a perfect like brotherly moment.
Yeah,
where like the big brother, like I could see it personally because I'm like a little brother. And I'm taller than my big brother. So I know it was a real big thing when I got taller than him. He was like, "Oh, I got to beat him up." So once I got taller than my brother, he was like, "I want you to know you ever try so I'm still whooping your ass." And Chi Hyung basically did exactly that. He's like, "Yeah, you look a little too big. Let's beat him." And he literally just beat him up.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I loved it because it was like so unexpected. Chi Woo was just talking. He's like, "Oh, come on, I'm big dog now." And Chi Hyung is like, "I don't think so." He just hit him in the face. That's how I imagined it.
Me too.
And that was pretty much everything until we fight the Cernitas.
Yep. So they come up to So actually, they were wondering how the Cernitas was able to annihilate the Casabili because the Last Dragon said like she had everyone scatter in different directions. But still got all annihilated.
Like every single person except they think one person.
Yeah.
One survived.
That one person survived because they found him on the way to the Cernitas.
Yep.
And then they made camp there because they knew the Cernitas were coming.
Yep. And that one survivor was like mentally destroyed.
Yeah.
He just couldn't fathom what the Cernitas was anymore. He was like, "It's a nest, a cocoon. It was destruction." Like he was actually just like popped, like tapped in the head, and he couldn't do anything anymore. And then the Shalia forces, they set up camp for one final hurrah.
Yeah, the only reason they were maintaining their sanity is because Chi Hyun and Choi Woo.
They were like, "We'll hold down the fort."
Yeah. But, then the fated day came, and we saw the monstrosity.
Right before that.
What happened before that?
Right. So an important part here is that Biak actually came to fight.
That's right. She actually pulled up.
And she never
pulls up.
She never pulls up. And right before the final battle, the night before.
Oh, yeah, Chi Hyun.
Yeah, Biak is like, "You need to go talk to your brother." She talks to Chi Woo. She's like, "You need to go talk to Chi Hyun." And he's like, "Why?" Like, "It's fine. I'm going to sleep. I'm tired." And she's like, "You gotta go." So she pushes him to go. And it's the first time that Chi Woo sees his brother. And he says he's like, you think of him as a soldier, like ramrod straight back and everything, like can take on the world, like broad shoulders that never slump. And he was like, he saw like a slumped over man, just like ready to end it.
Yeah.
That was epic. Like that was like a mind opening experience for Chihu. He's like, my brother, what? Like he can look like this?
Yeah.
And Chi Hyung was going through it, bro. You want to talk about it?
Yep. So they sit down. Chiwoo sits down with Chi-hyun on the campfire, and Chi-hyun finally starts revealing, little bits of information to us.
Yep.
So we finally found out that Chi-hyun has his own little desires. My boy, he wanted to be a normal kid. He wanted to go to school.
Yep.
Stress over exams.
Yep.
Get a crappy job.
Yep.
Make some money.
Maybe find a girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's all he wished for in this world.
Yeah, because we actually don't know Chi-hyun's past life.
Not even till right now.
And then he told us he never went to school.
Yeah, well, yeah, never actually. Yeah.
He said because he literally said in that moment, he's like, I wanted to go to school. I was like, he didn't go to school?
Yeah.
That's my thought, because I was like, because originally my thought is, oh, he probably went to school, did all that.
Like
then,
16, right?
Then went and became a hero.
Yeah.
Nah, they made this man a hero right off rip. They did not let him go do school.
We didn't find out like the depth of it until a little later, but that was shocking to me. I thought he was like, what my thought was is he grew up in the Choi family, like preparing to be a hero, like getting the training, and once he like finished high school, they sent him out.
Yeah, that's my thing too.
Nah.
No.
He was born to be a hero.
Yeah.
That's his job, his occupation,
his life.
That's all he did.
They didn't go into that depth right now, but they slowly tell us that later. But basically, he tells him, Choi right there, it's like, I wanted to live a normal life. And Choi was like, bet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that happen for you.
Yeah, like I'll see you on Earth.
Yeah.
And we'll make it happen. And Shi-hyung was like, I didn't know I could ever wish that. Like that was the first time we even heard what his wish was. And so that was a big point. And then we finally get the face off with the Cernitas. And this is a quick side note. I know, bro, for some reason, every time I say Cernitas, I think of the Chipotle Sofritas.
You say that, and I was thinking, oh man, I want a carnita so bad.
I don't know why. Every time I think of Cernitas, I think of Sofritas, bro. And I'm just like,
I'm thinking of the carnitas bowl.
Yeah.
When you say that, I'm like, that's
it was good. It was good. But so we get. Sorry, guys. We're gonna eat after this. But we get the Cernitas pull up, and the Shalia forces are all spread out. The 7 stars are there. Everybody is there. This is like the battle for Liber. This is the final fight.
Yes, and when we see the Cernitas pull up, the monstrosity, the cocoon, or nest or whatever.
Yeah,
I think
it was both.
It was like a both. It's massive, and they finally understood why everyone got annihilated, because Chi-hyun saw that the ground was being contaminated at a incredible rate. So he was like, oh, they were in the Cernitas territory. That whole thing must have been contaminated by the time they got there. That's why the mistake was going in their territory in the first place. So they couldn't escape.
Yep.
And then we saw the worst thing imaginable. The Demon Empire.
Yep.
The Abyss. And
the Casa
League. Even the Last Dragon.
Everybody was recreated.
They were Cernita.
Honestly, so I didn't like that.
I don't like it either. But it was like, bro, this is not the 3 coalition alliance. This is the 4 coalition alliance.
I hated that so bad. I'm like, we just beat all these people. And I don't think, they were actually technically improved versions of themselves.
Well, I don't think they were improved versions. They were more, I think they were just unkillable.
Okay.
Because remember, Chi-hyun was fighting the Last Dragon. He was like, why is she making so
many? That one's different. She's different. She has a special story. I want to give her some home time.
I thought that played into the rest of it, though.
No, so bro, everybody else, I think.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't really get that at first, but I think I understand that now.
So the Cernitas, when they take people over, this is kind of some guesswork because they don't explain it super well. But the Cernitas, when they take people over, they take like their current power and then they input their information, is what they call it, to make them like better versions of themselves. Like for example, we can think of Bale. Is that how we say her name? Bale.
Yeah.
When Bale willingly gave herself to the Sharnitas, there she had a little more will than like what Sharnitas usually give to people who like give themselves to the Sharnitas. But like she was stronger than she was originally, but different because she's now technically a Sharnita.
Mm-hmm.
So most people are like that. So the Sharnitas take the power that you show them, is what I got from that.
Oh, okay.
And so then everybody's the Sharnitas recreate all the forces on Liber, and they start going ham. And then Shiwu and Shi-Hyung, it becomes a huge battle of attrition.
It basically is just chaos and mayhem, and
it was like a 7-8 hour fight.
I thought it was like a day fight.
I thought it was from dawn to midday.
Was it midday? I thought. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I might have misread it.
Yeah, so it was basically less. But they were just fighting, duking it out. This Chi-Woo was trying to get to the nest, but he kept getting stopped by all the forces because he would kill him. Instant comeback.
Well, every time the forces died, the nest would shrink.
Yeah.
So they were wondering why, and so they came to the realization like the way they're fighting is not the Sharnita way. It's not efficient.
Yeah.
So they realized like what they're doing is just prolonging, or just stalling for time while they finish whatever they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone else is fighting.
Yep.
And she was trying to get to the nest. And
she was just overseeing the battle.
Yep, and he's fighting as well, and he's fighting like all the top, like the powerful figures.
Yeah, he's fighting,
and he's giving aid to the other guys.
Yeah,
so he's going nuts.
He was saving all the regular, like he was saving everybody who's in need of a struggle. He was literally overseeing the whole battlefield while fighting the last dragon and like the Abyss God or Abyss King.
The front lines or the rear lines, because the rear was getting pounded, brother. Like, god damn. Like,
all 7 stars, I think, went out there, right? The 7 stars were the people holding it back?
Was it
or
all?
Some of them?
I thought it was only half.
It might have been half, actually. It might have been half.
I think
half was in the back, half was with Chi-Woo pushing forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was going nuts.
Yeah.
And it got so crazy to a point where Evelyn and
Eshina
and Apolline.
Yeah.
They combined. They had been like in secret practicing the super.
I thought it was gonna go so much
KO
crazier.
Spell. Where like when we fight the Sneas, we're gonna destroy them.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna do so much more work.
Me too. And then, but it just added to the despair.
It did.
And so they unleashed it. The spell that just wiped the entire field.
It was basically an Apolline was ultimate fire, Eshina was ultimate ice, and they kind of like combined it. Like into a sphere of destruction. Yeah,
because Evelyn then just channeled it all because she could handle both, I think.
So I think how I thought I read it is that the damage was so powerful and they couldn't control it 100%. So Evelyn had to create a barrier to save Apolline and Eshina from themselves.
It wasn't just them, it was everyone.
Oh, everyone. Then everyone, because basically they couldn't 100% control their power. And if they just launched that, like, it would have killed the Sharnitas, but also themselves.
But I thought Evelyn also channeled energy into them.
Oh, maybe.
I think she did. That's why she was exhausted.
Okay. So she channeled energy into them and created a barrier for everybody to not die.
And then, so they annihilated all the Sharnitas.
Yep.
And then they came back. Instead of 1 second regeneration, it was like 10.
Yeah.
And so it added to the spirit. Because when they did the move, I was like, yo, this was crazy.
Yeah, me
and then
too.
when she said, oh, the Sneakers come back, I was like, what?
It was so bad.
I was like, they're back already? There's no way.
Ruamu was like wrecking everybody. Like,
they were just getting pushed back.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything. It's like killing the Abyss King like 87 times.
Yeah, but you could feel the sense. The way the author described it was like the line held.
Yeah.
Every time you're like, come on, hold the line.
But it was so hard for them to hold it, in my opinion, because they didn't even know what to hold for. Because it's not like Shiwu was even fighting the Sharnitas.
No, he was fighting the same enemies.
He was just trying to get to the Sharnitas.
Yeah.
And in that, we actually get the last dragon was fighting Chi-Hyung. And this is where I wanted to give her some time because she made an epic sacrifice. So when the last dragon was fighting the Sharnitas, so this is where what I said earlier is kind of relevant, is that I think the Sharnitas only gets the information that you give them, like that you allow, like the power that you use. You know what I mean? So I think only the power that you use is the power that like the Cernitas will be able to take. I don't think they can take your full self because the way that she was acting while she was fighting.
No, but she said she erased her memory.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
I missed that.
You missed it. What?
I missed that. When did she say that?
No. So here's the thing. This is why Chi-hyun was freaking out at the beginning before the flashback, because he was like, "Oh, what?" Because he was wondering what they were planning. It's like, and then they went to the flashback, and then Last Dragon was like, "What's the?" I don't know if it was Last Dragon, but someone said this to him, like, "What's the most scariest thing that?"
Oh yes.
Like, oh, a creature that can devour your memories, and replicate all that stuff, or something like that. And he was like, "Oh shit!" And he was wondering that why he's finding the Last Dragon, because she,
got devoured by Cernitas.
Yeah, but she was like fighting weirdly.
Yeah, she was just like
she was doing random attacks.
She was acting like a crazy dragon, just throwing breaths like randomly.
And he's like, "Oh, he could have killed her 10 times over." She was like, "She would never fight like this." And then we saw the flashback and she explained like, "Oh, she was like, oh, thank you for trusting us, whatever. Why didn't you trust Bale?" He was like, "She's a demon. Yeah. She doesn't work for Liber. She works for the Empire. So even if we align ourselves, she'll eventually betray us." Yeah. She didn't care. And then she was like, well, "Thank you for your trust in us." So she created a spell where like if she ever died, she would lose all of her memories.
Oh, I fucking missed that.
And that's when he like
saw it. He realized that she did that. Yeah. And then I remember then they fought and Chi-hyun killed her. Yeah. And he was like, "Thank you." And then we got the name drop finally. Rafine. Is it Rafni or Rafine?
I think it's Rafine.
I thought it was Rafni. Rafine, maybe.
I'm pretty sure it's Rafine.
I don't know. Either way, I thought it was.
It's either Rafine or Raffinine.
I thought it was perfect, bro. Yeah. Because we hadn't known her name this whole time, and to drop it like right there. I
didn't even realize until
Me either, bro. She
said like, "Why have you never said my name?" I was like, "Oh my god, she never said his name before."
Bro, that hit me so hard when that happened, and I was like, "Wow,
that's crazy." Like
that was a perfect name job. Author, like, great job.
Yeah, that's great.
That was great. I love that.
And then we switched to Chiwoo rushing towards the Cernitas. Yeah. And she was like, "Damn it. All right, no more conserving power. I'm going to blow this bitch up and go straight to the Cernitas." Because the Cernitas has shrunken once again. And so Chiwoo gets to the nest. Yep. And then we see the nest open. Did the nest open up? The cocoon open up?
The nest opened up, yeah.
Yeah, and then tries to swallow Chiwoo. And then Chi-hyun does some sort of Rafine. Okay. Yeah. He does a swap. Yeah. He swaps with Chiwoo and he gets swallowed instead. And then we come to the realization
Cernitas wanted that all along.
That's what they wanted.
They wanted to take Chi-hyun.
That was part of it. Chi-hyun even guessed that himself before he swapped. He was like, "If I feel no
rejection from the teleportation,
this could have been their thing."
Yeah, because while he was doing it, he was like, "They should be trying to stop my teleportation," but they didn't at all. Yeah. But yet he knew that, and he was like, "I need to jump into," because it's like, it's my brother, and he jumped straight in, and like he instantly gets mollywopped somehow. Like they say he like take all his powers, right?
Yeah, they restricted all of his powers.
Restricted all his powers. And we finally get Chi-hyun's backstory.
Yeah. So we find out from the Cernitas that the universe will offer them a chance to become the perfect being. And they're like, "Okay, we're going to create this vessel for you to devour, or you need to create a vessel to devour Chiwoo." And so they were like, "Oh, there's only one person in the universe that could do it. Yep. Chi-hyun." Because what the Cernitas didn't realize is that Chi-hyun is actually far stronger than what they realized. He's just
he never realized his potential.
Well, no, it's just that Libra's restricted him.
That's true.
Because he has no connection to the celestial realm.
Yeah.
So we realized, they realized, we gotta devour Chi-hyun to devour Chiwoo. And Chi-hyun was like, "Oh, I realize that now." Or he like kind of he was able to deduce that, and obviously he can't like kill himself or anything. No. And they like slowly try to absorb him, and in doing that, we finally see his memories that he dredged up.
And so this is where we find out that Chi Hyung was born a hero. So his parents basically got together for the sole reason that Chi Hyung and Chi Woo's mother was so strong that the Choi family was like, hey, like she might like eclipse us as like the strongest hero. And the legend at the time was Choi Woo's father and Choi Soy. How do you say
Choi Sian.
Choi Siyoung. So Choi Siyoung, and they were like, should we stick to tradition and just try to like be stronger than her? Like Choi Siyoung,
yeah,
like
the Choi family, because apparently like the Choi family is more conservative than I thought.
Yeah.
And they were kind of just like the
whole
Lactia family,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I was like, well, I can understand why Jihan just kind of hates all.
Yeah, exactly.
And we learned more and more of that in the during his backstory in that. So Choi Sian and
I don't remember her name.
It begins with an E.
Oh, it was like Aaron
Ehrlich.
Yeah.
It's Ehrlich something. Whatever. They get together for the sake of the Choi family to stay the strongest family.
Mm-hmm.
They have Choi Chi-hyun because they realize, oh, we're gonna give birth to like an even stronger hero than us.
Mm-hmm.
And they said from the moment he could start walking, they trained him.
Every second of his life
was thought out for him.
Mm-hmm.
He had no choice, and they made him into the perfect hero.
Elrich.
Mm-hmm. I was close.
Yeah, you were. Elrich is the mom's name. So basically every second. So if he slept, he didn't sleep 8 hours. He didn't sleep 8.5 hours. He didn't sleep 8.5 hours or 8 hours and 37 minutes. He slept 8 hours, 37 minutes, 45.5 seconds. That's how timed his life was. And as soon as he woke up, he had something to do.
Mm-hmm.
He had to follow some sort of training. Down to the very second. I couldn't even believe when they said that. Down to the second they planned his whole life. It was
so different from what I thought his parents were going to be. And I guess it makes sense because they had their memories erased.
Yeah, so they're just completely different than how we know them.
Yeah.
That was very shocking to me. Because, like, they even said that, like, oh, their parents, first and foremost, so they know. Well, they didn't say first and foremost, but they are also parents. So they, like, love their kid. And, like, they understand how he could be, like, going through it. But like families first, and so like they're sticking to their schedule that they probably themselves created with their elders of the family.
Because that was the Choi system, and it worked because it made them the strongest family, and every hero was
the legend.
Yeah,
every single generation was the legend.
But we found out that Choi Hyun at some point started hating it. He was like, "Bruh, I don't want to be no hero anymore. I didn't even get a choice to become a hero." He said at first he liked it. He said
that makes sense.
He liked saving planets, but then at some point it was just like too much of something is bad, no matter what it is.
And the thing also that got me that I never even thought about that they mentioned here is that the Celestial Realm doesn't give you anything for saving worlds.
No.
So for example, like I understand heroes that save their own world, right? Because it's like it's your own world, you want to save it. But once you do that, like you stepping onto another world, you're doing that all for your own will. And the Celestial,
no reward.
Celestial Realm doesn't reward you at all.
They don't give you any money and nothing.
Yeah, like I thought there'd be something to incentivize you to go. No. Like maybe besides the power you get, that's probably it. But like, I don't know, man. That's not even the Celestial Realm giving you that.
Yeah, it's nuts.
You earned that yourself. It didn't make any sense to me. How do you have so many heroes working for free? And they said it multiple times throughout the novel. It's not like all heroes are like the picture in the novel definition of a hero. So it like kind of confused me. If like it's not like everybody's just super super righteous. Like there must, you know.
Yep, and then that's why that was also confusing because I was just like, so they don't get paid anything; they just get some glory, but. Why are they?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of. I don't think he described that very well.
Yeah,
and if that's like, well, maybe he did, and the reason just sucks.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that. I mean, if they're giving their time to you, I can understand how people end up with crappy attitudes at some point.
Yeah.
So it's Choi Chi-hyun because he had saved Liber so many times, and it kept getting worse. And when he told the Emperor, like, "Oh, hey," because there's one situation where. Choi Chi-hyun massacred an entire nation because he was like,
oh, they're making they're part of the problem, so I got rid of them. And his mom was like, you can't do that because that you're stepped out of line as your roles. You're supposed to save the planet, like not go and
add more destruction.
And
he was like, well, I am. They're part of the reason why I have to keep coming back so often. So me killing them extends the time until I have to come here. So I'm saving the world.
Yep.
And I kind of understood where he was coming from, but there's like lines, you know?
There is lines because you can't. Because she was like, what if there was innocent souls? He's like, I don't believe there was innocent. Yeah. It's like, what if there? Are you sure there wasn't? He's like, even if there was, it's all for the greater good, right?
Yeah.
He was just able to just push it back even more with some twisted logic. But it's like he was getting twisted, and then he was gonna do it again, but Ehrlich it literally had to interfere. She was like, you cannot do this because I don't know if it was on Liber.
It was on Liber.
Okay, so on Liber, the Empire, they got rid of a hero from a different place because they didn't want the hero to get power. Even though Chi-Han was like, you need to leave him alive so he can help this place out.
Yeah, and the Emperor was like, nah, he wasn't born in our empire. We don't want another empire to grow. Yeah, so we killed the hero prematurely. And then he was like, oh, well, if you did that, then that's enough reason for me to destroy your whole empire. It's like, maybe not. And so, he was ready to send it. And, I honestly, fully, I don't know about to say fully, but, I understand why Shi-Hyung is as, cold and heartless as he is.
Yeah, because he was just like, I'm tired of this. And he had told them, his parents were like,
I want to quit.
You can't do this. And he was like, I want to quit, but they weren't going to let him quit. So he was like, well, if I turn into a demon lord, it's over. It's on. Yeah. You're going to have to kill me with your own hands at some point, because I am not going to just sit here and just see a problem that I know can be solved this way and just not solve it that way.
And I don't know how old he technically is. I think it's 28.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he's gone through thousands of years of regression. So his mind at some point just.
Yeah, because it's not like, if it was just 28 years, that's still excessively long to be following a rigid system that you didn't choose your whole life. But beyond that, he goes through regression, so he might spend 50 years on a planet, but then he regresses when he leaves the planet. He's still 28. He didn't age 50 years. He aged a day or a second, is what they said. So he'll spend, I think, and a little bit later they say that he spent 1,000 years doing hero stuff, and it was only 10 years in the real world. So it's he's lived so many. He's probably lived tens of thousands of years of hero work. It's not 28 years. It's tens of thousands of years.
So at some point he was like, I need to get out. I need to get out. I'm done with this. And so he went to
Princess
Sahi, who, to be honest, kind of got shafted.
Yeah,
we really don't know anything else about her. But the only thing we know is that she was once a human shaman. And shamans usually, when you're picked to be a shaman, you're the saintess, but you have to live your life through God or whatever. I forget what it was, but she fought against her fate and became a god, even though she was supposed to die for her, whatever her shaman god was. And so he was kind of related to her. He was like, hey, can you
tell me how you defied your fate
and help me define mine?
Yeah.
And she was like, defying your fate is pretty much going to be impossible because you're supposed to carry the fate of he was supposed to be obviously the legend.
Yep.
But he was supposed to be even bigger than what his father or any other Choi was.
Yeah, he was whatever they did, he was gonna eclipse it.
Yeah. So far.
Yeah.
And she was like, so, but you've steered off it because you've been trying to leave. And she said, if you keep going the way you're going, you're gonna
become a demon lord.
Yeah. Now she said demon lord would be child's play to what you're gonna become.
Yeah, that's true.
Demon lord's child's play.
They said he'd become chaos.
Yeah. Oh, chaos. That's right.
That's true. And so then she gave him a choice.
She was like, oh yeah.
And then she was like, oh, so if you want to change it, we can't do something, but it'll take 20 years. You have to wait just 20 years, and then your problem will be solved. And he's like, okay, I can do 20 more years of this. And then as soon as he saves the world, he goes back home.
Wait. She also told him once I do this for you, you can't change it. Yeah, it's impossible to reverse the flow. And then after he came home,
he saves the world, or it doesn't matter. He comes home, and he finds that his parents are pregnant. Like Elrich, his mom is pregnant, and they're like, I think from what they say, they
just made her
pregnant. So I think
Princess say he put a baby in her stomach.
The way they described it, though, to me, made it seem that like they either one like cut off their reproductive systems, or two just do not do like any sort of like sex or anything, because they were like, "There's no way this could happen." You know, they like emphasize it so many times. I'm like, did they cut off their reproductive systems the way they're talking about this?
I don't know, but they were shocked. But then
they said it could never have happened.
Yeah, and then Choi Hyun was like, "Yeah, I just wished for someone he liked." And that's when I found out, I was like, "Oh, I have to kill Choi Chi-hoo." That's the big secret that he was talking about. That's why he said, like, "You were born because of me." Because this was the person he needed to kill to overcome his fate.
Yeah, so if he killed his brother once he turned 20 years old, he could do whatever he wanted after that. And that was the reason why Chi Hyung was so, like,
online we're torn apart about it because he felt bad. Because at the beginning, he didn't care. Yeah, he was so fed up.
The first 10 years
that he even lied to his parents, saying like, "Oh yeah, I wished for someone to help me with my burden."
Yeah.
And then he would never be around just so he couldn't form a bond. So that way, when 20 years passed, he could finally kill him. And then one time he came home
at the 10-year mark,
and Choi
Chi-woo
was like, turned around and looked at him and said, "You can kill me."
Yeah. And before this, Chi-woo, they describe them. So we know that Chi-woo now, that was not his first 10 years of life. His first 10 years of life, he was basically like an empty doll, like an empty shell. And he kind of just like sat there and like existed.
Yeah. Oh, because that's right. Because Ehrlich and Sihyun, they said that they were doing some reflection, and they realized, that the way they treated Sihyun, like they were like mentors before they were parents.
Yep.
And so they said like, okay, we're not going to treat Chiwoo the way we treated Sihyun. Obviously, she was kind of mad at that.
Yeah.
Because that's how oldest are always done dirty like that.
Yeah, every time. Every time.
But yeah, obviously. But now it's funny because Chiwoo, they're trying to treat him well, and he can't.
He can't. He's literally just like a doll.
Yeah,
that's how
he can't
I thought
do
of
anything.
him. And then at 10 years old, he says to Chi Hyun, "You can kill me. You can kill me." And Chi Hyun is like so disgusted with himself.
He's disturbed at that point.
He's like, did I really create this person just so I can kill him to escape my fate?
Because he realized at the point that Chiwoo knew.
Yeah, he knew, and Chi Hyun felt like he just created. He put somebody else in a worse situation than himself.
Yeah,
because at least Chi Hyun could live. Like Chi-woo was literally just like a doll. Like he existed. He had no sense of self.
Destined to die.
And Chi Hyun was like, "What have I done?" He goes to Princess Sahi. He's like, "How can I fix this?"
She's like, "You can't.
You can't."
And she's just like, even if you take on more karma or whatever, you'll only be like a ripple. You might not even do anything. But that's why he also worked. He put himself back into the situation.
And then she was like, the only way you can do it, I think, or even give it a ripple, like you said, is if you have to go back into this hero lifestyle, and you have to do it for the rest of your life till you die. And he was like, all right, sign me up. And so right after that, at 10 years old, Chi-woo turns into Chi-woo that we know. He starts growing up. He still gets, obviously all the bad encounters. He can never finish anything because bad luck, all this and that.
So Choi Hyun, we come to find out, is a huge hoe.
Yeah.
Because his wish just made things worse.
Yeah.
Because now he's even in a worse situation, and then he got someone else in a terrible situation.
It makes sense why he was so mad that Chi-woo was there, because he was like, I'm doing everything to try to save your life, and you're coming here, and like you're gonna die.
Yeah, because it's like there's just all the guilt and everything.
Yeah, and so like I understand Chi-hyun's story now. How do you feel about it?
So the one thing I didn't like was that they were able to just create Chiwoo this peerless being from some wish from Shihyun.
Yeah.
I was like, so can anyone just do that? Like, we just go over and be like, hey, can you create us? And then we just give a bunch of Chiwus? Like, what? That was what kind of annoyed me because I was like, so he was just born from some random ass wish.
I don't think they can do that. I think you have to have a certain amount of fate to be able to do, like, to create somebody on the level of Chiwu. Like, they could probably create like Chiwu like beings, like, you know, like the shells, but they can't give them like the heavenly fate level power. I think that's because Chi Hyung had such a great fate that them making it like compounding his fate and making it crazier made Chiwu's fate. That's how I thought of it.
But but the thing that still didn't make sense was why were they? How did even if that was even if he had that fate, how was Princess Say able to just still
like do that herself? Yeah, yeah. I didn't love it.
It didn't make it doesn't really make sense unless I feel like if it was like from the origin or the will of the universe, something like that, where he offered up something to it.
Yeah.
Then I would have been like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then it just realized, oh wait, we don't want that or something. I don't know. Something if it had something to do with the will of the universe, I think I would have accepted it way more. Like, oh, okay. But it was just Princess Sehi, who we know nothing about anyway. So it's like we don't know her feats other than she overcame her fate, but it's like, well, how bad was that fate? Like we hear that all the time. Like,
I agree with you.
This isn't the first story I heard someone overcome their fate, bro. I'm like, let me hear the feats. Like, is she ranked 10? If she's ranked 10, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a lot of like, where's this coming from?
Yeah.
And so then we finally get that backstory. We get Shihyun.
It was still a crazy backstory.
It was crazy. I'll give you that.
I mean, I would have never thought that his birth was because of Shihyun.
Yeah, and that's basically the big secret of the novel.
Yeah, that's the like, biggest secret. That's why I was like.
That's why I put so much time into that right now, guys. It's the biggest point of the novel.
Yeah. Also, but it doesn't. It did never explain why he doesn't like the Holactia family.
I think it was because
they said trying to get involved with him, but because with Choi. I mean, they mentioned it a little bit with Choi because they wanted him to marry Alice because they were like cousins, and for them, since they're descendants of God, they don't care about interbreeding. But I was like, yeah, you can not like that, but I feel like the rage literally point where you choke your technical like younger sister and put her against the wall is like, damn, bro.
I think they kind of explained, the author kind of explained that like Shihyun is just kind of like, I don't know if you want to use the term racist or just like I don't know what the right word is, but he has a very negative connotation.
Or prejudice?
Prejudice. He's very prejudiced towards them. And I think the author even said that like his rage was way over the top. That's how I saw it. That the author even said like he's doing too much. Because I think like after reading everything, I think he's doing too much.
Yeah, there's never a good explanation.
I can see him being mad, like a bit, but like not to that level.
Yeah.
To like, I never want to see anybody from Holactia. Like, if I do kill on sight, like the only reason you're not is because
my mom.
Yeah.
That's like, damn. What are they didn't do anything yet.
Yeah, exactly.
They did not say anything.
But we get Mr. Choi Chi-hyung. He comes back, and I'm not gonna lie, this is where the assholes begin for me.
Oh yes.
So the Cernitas are like, the Cernitas saw all this information, and they're like, oh, we see why you're the way you are about your brother. It's not because you love him, it's because you had to love him. This and that, blah, blah, blah. And then Shihyung's like, oh, you thought you got me. No, you didn't. He used 37th or 39th.
37.
He used the 37th, the second coming of the legend. So he uses his past, his present, and his future to use the crazy power up that he used originally to fight Chiwu. And this is where the aspect begins.
Biggest aspect.
They said that the Cernitas, or Baal at the time, Baal at the time, saw Chi-hyung use this ability, and the Cernitas, when absorbing Baal, were so excited that they just glossed over the information of how powerful it was.
Yeah, they were like, oh yeah, they mixed up the 39th with the 37th, because they never seen the 37th. They saw 39th. They're like, oh, we're prepared for the 39th. And I was like, oh no, it's the 37th. We've never seen this. I was like, what?
Yeah, bro. I was like, come on.
That was crazy, especially the Cernitas, who are at this point, they're strongest. You're telling me they couldn't?
They're so meticulous. They do calculations for every single thing they do.
Yeah, and also that was BS because they had Bale for how long?
Yes, bro.
I had her for how long?
I was so annoyed. I think they... Honestly, I think the author already had a good way to do it. Is that they knocked Bale out so she never saw the ability.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
And they could have said the Last Dragon didn't have any memory either. So
yeah.
they had all the...
Yeah. So I was thinking that would have been a way to...
Me too.
Like, they had, in my opinion, they had a decent way to, like, write it out.
But they just added some random...
They added an Aspel.
They was like, oh no, it's a 37, not 39. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what? You guys didn't even know... You shouldn't have even known about 39th anyway because of the knockout.
Bro... I hated that.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
And then Shi-Hyun basically destroys the vessel at the cost of himself.
Yeah, because he used his entirety of his being.
Yep. Past, present, future. He destroys the vessel, all their Shanitas.
Their plan is up in smoke.
Yeah, like basically they said like after he destroyed the vessel, they could never become a god.
Yep.
Like he destroyed their path to the future. So they go absolutely apeshit. Because they're like, we have no purpose for existing. You destroyed our purpose. We're going to destroy everything.
So, yeah. And then Shi-Hyun disappears to Choi Woo.
Disappears in his arms, in Choi Woo's arms.
Yep.
Think of it as a One Piece Ace moment.
Yeah, pretty much. And he just, becomes, blank. His arms slumped. And everyone's just dying around him.
Everybody's getting wrecked. They say Ruamu gets wrecked. Emmanuel gets melted.
I don't know if it was Uniel. I think she got ate up.
She got eaten alive.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, I know. Evelyn got the back of her head smashed in. I don't know what happened to Eshna or Hawa.
I don't remember either. But basically everybody got murdered.
Everyone died.
They said besides like 5, they said you can count the amount of people who were like left in like perfect shape with one hand.
Yeah.
So there was probably like less than 100 survivors.
Yep. And then Chiwoo loses it.
Goes full Heavenly King.
His Heavenly King power goes crazy. And Byac is sitting there sad. She's like, Chi-Hun died, didn't get his wish. And Choi-Woo, because Chi-Hun said like, oh, if I died, Chi-Woo's gonna get the cliche protagonist power up. Yeah. And Byac was like, yeah, I think you guessed wrong. Yeah. He's about to destroy everything.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they didn't want from the beginning. Like, even if it cost Libra's existence, that's better than Chi-Woo going full berserk,
wiping out the universe.
Yeah, because he'd wipe out everything. And so he's basically about to go to berserk, and he's like they say like a couple seconds away from destroying everything. And then Flora joins him, and I didn't like this either.
No, it was another aspect.
Well, they said something about like her and him together create a circle, and circles are infinity, and she creates a circle and he creates a circle. So when they link the two circles together, they cycle indefinitely or infinitesimally,
like
and so they continuously go, so they never stop. So he can control his Heavenly King.
I was like, what?
Well, first of all, he already has her power.
Because
how does adding her again give him more power?
Yeah, it didn't make sense. Like, I think he tried to explain it as he's like, they try to explain it as like they're from the same or like similar origin, but he's just like,
it was horrible, bro.
He's just like a more pure origin or bigger origin than she was, but like because she shares it, she can share some of his burden. And I was like, well, I thought that was a huge aspect. Because I was like,
me too.
First of all, no, because he's not. They're not the same.
Yep.
No matter what, she's the recreation of the war god or war general.
Yeah, something like that.
I was like, okay, so she has Heaven's Vessel, and so she's like she
can become a god.
But that's it. Yeah. He can step over. Every time he uses Heavenly King power, when he grabbed Flora, they literally said, you just announced to the universe that you're going to step over it. Flora cannot do that.
Yeah. Bro,
she does not share the same energy.
And I want you guys to know, as an engineer, that was too much math. There was too much calculations he was doing in there. I was not enjoying it, bro. I did not enjoy it at all. The whole power.
I didn't enjoy the explanation.
Yeah.
I thought it did not do it justice. Yeah. I was really wondering how they were going to have him control his power. I did not expect this.
Yeah, me either. And also, I got to say, one thing that I didn't like here is that technically this whole novel, he has never won without having to sacrifice something. Like at the beginning, he had like disposable items to sacrifice, and then later on, it started being like certain people had to die. He never like completely won.
Yeah, because it was crazy when Esha's brother died.
Yeah,
I was like, damn.
So like
they didn't let nobody live.
Yeah, so like his first thing, he had to sacrifice real people.
Yeah,
and like Giant Fist and all those people.
Yeah, Giant Fist died.
Mm-hmm. It was so bad, bro. That made me more mad because I think that like at least one time he's trained so hard, he's done all these things. I think at least one time he had to like, and I think this would have been the perfect moment at the end of the novel, like him control his power somehow, some way, and he wins the fight through his own means instead of like him having to do something crazy. Like somebody has to die
or relying on someone.
Yeah, relying on someone like him himself steps up, and that never happened once this novel. I'm not gonna lie, that brought it down like a lot for me. And then all these ass pulls at the end, bro. We're getting hold, bro, at endings. This is why, guys, we warned you. Wuxia World light novel endings is rare to find the good one.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the last one must have been like Desolate Era or something.
Yeah, bro, that's exactly what I was thinking. Desolate Era. Desolate Era had a great ending.
Because even Divine Throne of Primordial Blood, that was okay.
That was okay, yeah.
But it could have been S.
Yeah.
They fudged it all up.
Yeah. So the ending. So I guess let's get to the ending. He gets his Heavenly King power, instantly wipes out the Cernitas. Like not even that. He doesn't even need to do that. It's like less than a blink.
Yes.
It's like a thought.
He basically became the king.
Yeah.
And then he went to the. Or actually, I don't know. Did he revive everyone, or did he go to the Origin World first?
I don't think he went to the
Origin World. I keep saying Universe World.
Yeah, the Universe Will I think showed up to Liber or like showed up on him, and they basically the Will was like, "Oh, you should have never been born. I kept trying to kill you because I didn't want this to happen." And he was like, "If you didn't try to kill me,
none of this would have happened.
None of this would have happened." And then the Will starts running away, and she will basically one shots it.
He stomps him, and then no, actually, he didn't kill him. He just traps him.
Yeah, he traps him. That's true.
And then he revives everyone.
I don't know if I love that either.
Yeah, I think rather than everyone, I don't like that he revived everyone. I think I would have rather just less people have died.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Like maybe the 7 stars survived, but he just basically what he did was he just restored Lyra to its original state. He revived everyone.
Like before, not even when we first got there. Before that,
all those people
before the
alive.
Destruction of Lyra.
We got Esh and his brother back.
We got the Salem Kingdom.
Yeah.
Everybody was back.
And obviously, what was the guy's name that brought Chiwu there?
What do you mean?
The guy.
Oh, Giant Fist.
Yeah, they didn't mention him.
I was so mad about that. They didn't mention him getting revived.
Yeah, but I was like, I know he's alive because he was there because Eshton's brother's alive. But they didn't say anything about him.
I was so mad about that because they mentioned him in the chapters. They just didn't mention him coming back to life.
Yeah,
and I'm like, he's like the reason this all started. Yes. He should have gotten at least one line.
Him and that other girl that was with them.
I don't remember her name. I think it's like Malaysia.
Yeah,
something Flower. I think it's like Malaysia Flower. Something that starts with that.
Yeah, but I was like, you didn't mention Giant Fist?
I was so mad about that. That was a big grievance of mine. That was a big grievance of mine.
Giant Fist. And then, because I've read some of the side stories, they still haven't mentioned him.
Really?
No.
I stopped right at the ending. I'm like, I'm not even giving the side stories my attention, man. I was so mad, guys. I was so mad. And then all of this, at the end, he saves the world.
And he tries to revive Shihan, but he can't.
Because he uses past, present, and future.
So he says, like, you can't revive, there's no cause, so he can't undo a cause that doesn't exist.
And then before we get to the next thing, here, I was so mad because I was like, they call him the best Chi Wu, but yet he didn't save his brother, which is exactly what future Chi Ju did. So I'm like, what's different between him and her? Like, there really wasn't anything. Mm-hmm. I guess technically there was, but...
Well, at first, they thought there was.
And then we get the end of Liber. Everybody's happy.
He brings Evelyn with him, which I was shocked. Yeah. I was like, wow, he actually brought her with him?
And
I thought he was going to hold all the girls.
Me too. He strong-armed her, though. Yeah. Or no, she strong-armed him.
She 100%. She knew she had to.
She was like, hey, I can't believe you didn't ask to save any of my people. Oh, for compensation, you're going to marry me. Oh, and you're going to take me back to the earth. Oh, and you're going to give me 1,000 kids. Oh, and I'm going to become your wife. All right, fine. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
That was all a solo dialogue.
He just accepted
it. And he was like, okay, all right. That was hilarious.
Yeah, funny.
And then who else came with him? Flora.
Yeah, he brought back Flora.
Flora, Evelyn. One more person. Oh, Wally, the wolf.
Wally came with him.
And then Ashta or not Ashta?
No.
No. So the Evelyn, Flora, Wally, and then and Philip.
Yes, because Philip got revived.
Right, Philip got revived.
Bro, that actually annoyed me so much.
Me too.
I was like, you brought everyone back.
I think people getting revived sometimes is cool with me, but it depends how they do it, and especially if somebody just made a really big sacrifice, them getting revived like technically like not even a week later. It irks me. It's like, bro, I just cried over this man.
So it's a weird style of writing this author has, in that he likes making it so despairing, and then he gives you a really happy ending.
I don't like
because he did that with Second Coming to Gluttony.
He did.
That's why I said like Second Coming.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh god, and because that's what my first thought was when I saw him say, "Oh, Second Coming of the Legend." I was like, that's a throwback to Second Coming of Gluttony.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is gonna be a super happy ending, isn't it?
I don't know, bro.
And then they pulled it off at the very last second, bro. We goes back to his house, and Shihyun is alive.
He's just sitting there eating a chicken.
And then we find out another ass pull.
The biggest ass pull. Like, they literally pulled it out of nowhere. I think they could have at least brought it out at the Challenger. That was the latest they could bring it out, and me maybe being okay with it.
Yeah. So apparently,
they never did.
Years ago, Chihu's human mentor, who we
gave him the club.
We don't even know his name.
Yo, for real.
We don't know how he was able to predict that the greatest being in the universe was gonna have a wish like that.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Here's a wish talisman," and he was like, "Oh, who's gonna grant me my wish?" He's like, "You."
Yeah.
I was like, "How do you know that?"
Yeah.
And he's like, because you'll have the power to grant your own wish, and his wish was to come home with his brother.
And guys,
and as the greatest being in the universe, how can his wish not be granted?
Guys, if we knew that from when he stepped in the library,
that he had a wish thing,
I would have been okay with it.
I'd have been like, I actually probably would have liked that. I'd be like, oh, the wish thing. We forgot. But instead, I was like, what wish thing? This is out of nowhere.
This is what we're talking about. When he went to Challenger, he offered the last talisman he had. He said it himself. The last talisman. So where do you get another last talisman? Oh, bro, I was not happy. I was not happy for that wish talisman. Chi-hyun comes back, and he gets his wish. Technically, he came back, but his body is so damaged that he can't be a hero, so he has to forcefully retire.
And he gets to live his life. So I think that's part of the wish where it's like, oh, now he gets... Because he wanted his... Not only did he want his brother to come home, he wanted his brother to live the life way he wanted.
Happily ever after. His parents retired. He becomes the head of the Choi family.
Yeah, they cut off connections to the Celestial Realm. Flora becomes an adopted child. Evelyn is now his girlfriend.
Wally is his pet dog.
Yeah.
Who was described as a 30 to 40 foot wolf god.
Yes.
He's a pet dog. And even worse, to make it worse, because I was already mad, I pictured him as a Chihuahua. I didn't even picture a husky. I went straight Chihuahua. I was like, I am mad and I'm done.
Yeah. We actually completely glossed over him because he awakened his fangs.
Who cares, bro?
Yeah.
That's true. During the Abyss God battle.
And then she was like, deterrence.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the debuff.
Yeah, so Wally evolved and he got his
raw divinity.
His raw divinity. She will use
fine divinity.
Yeah. And then she will use blessed luck and deterrence to make him so he instantly went into God form. So, he was never really like that fight. He did something, but after that, like even the Sanitas, he didn't really have like a big role.
No,
like
he was getting clapped.
He was technically a god.
Actually, well, they did say like he was keeping up, and then at some point he just got lost.
Yeah. So. Another one is Teresa got the 7th star. Chiwu was kind of like, I need to give somebody the star.
Actually, that was a hoe.
Yeah.
I was like, because there should have been a real, like, legitimate 7th star.
Yeah.
Not just, yeah, sure, you can have it.
Because at that point, you didn't really need a 7th star. You could have given her, you could have used the power to rule the world, not make her a 7th star, and you'll still be fine. You know? There wasn't no reason.
Yeah, why was there not? That's actually another confusion. Why was there not an actual 7th star? Because even because that kind of just destroys Ada's prediction thing. She's like, you have to gather the 7 stars. I was like, he didn't gather the real 7. He gathered a fake star. That's what she is. She didn't have her talent was nowhere near anyone else's.
The only reason he gave it to her was because of, I think, Grumpy Chiwu and the future arc.
Oh, he said like she's decent.
No, I think Grumpy Chiwu was like in love with Teresa.
Yeah,
and he was like, so you should give her a chance. And he was like, all right, because Grumpy Chiwu loved you. I'll give you a chance. Whack.
It was whack.
I'm not gonna lie. Before the ending, I was willing to give this an 8.5 to a 9. I'm at like a 6.5 to 7.
I'm like a 7.5.
I'll give it a 7, bro. But like, it was so disastrous, bro.
This ending was disastrous.
Like,
and it was only disastrous
for like the last 10 chapters.
Yeah, but like it just came crashing down on everything else. Because the 3 coalition lines, that was crazy.
Yep.
Even this fight with the Cernitas was nuts.
Yep.
The revealing of Chi-Hyun's past and Chiwoo's
origin, yeah.
I was like, that's still crazy. Even though I don't agree with how it happened. It still was crazy.
Yep, me too. I liked it.
And then everything else was like, guys, this doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no continuity from any part of the novel in the rest here. But if you like happy endings, you'll probably like this.
Yeah.
If you're someone that just doesn't
care how it happens.
If you don't care how it happens, or you're just like, everyone's alive, yay!
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just like, I don't mind that, but it's like sometimes
it hasn't made sense. Like, for example, Desolate Era, they were talking about it the whole time.
They're talking about reviving his wife the entire novel. If his wife didn't get revived after that, I would have been even more mad.
Yeah, so he gets ultimate power. Jining becomes the Chaos Lord. He can now revive his people. They talked about it the whole time.
Yes.
That's okay with me. I was happy they had a big dinner. Everybody's alive.
That was great.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
This, 2 thumbs down. All right. No. Oh God, no.
No, the people that died should have died. Except I won't say that. The people who died before the Cernitas fight should have stayed dead.
I agree with you with how they should have done it. If more people should have stayed alive, not him just revive everybody.
Yeah, they should have been like, oh, the 7 stars made it out or something like that.
And some natives of Liber or whatever, but no. Yeah, I'm giving it a 7 final rating. You influenced me a bit. I won't go all the way 6.5.
I feel like 6.5 is too low.
Because I don't want to. You're right. I don't want to just judge it based off its ending. But I feel like sometimes when you're judging a novel, you judge it in its like completion, this whole thing, right? And like if everything leading up to the ending is awesome, and then the ending just throws away the whole beginning, it makes me think less of everything I've read.
Oh, that's fair.
You know what I mean? So like, even though everything up to that was an 8.5, him ending it how he ended, the last 10 chapters dropped it so much that it's like now I'm rethinking everything I've read, and it's like it just didn't mean as much anymore. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's why I like
because all those deaths were impactful.
Yeah.
Like they sacrificed the whole Shanaz tribe or whatever it's called, and then Philip's death, and then
Rafine.
Rafine dying was shocking.
Yep.
I was like, what?
Yep.
They killed the last dragon?
Yeah. I never would have thought that.
And then Philip died. I was like,
yeah. Ruamu getting killed, like that one wasn't as big. But
it wasn't as big because at that point I realized like
everybody's coming back.
Yeah.
But still, like
they're not gonna just leave them all dead.
Yeah. But like I think one of the biggest things that we loved about this novel when we were doing our review of the first 200 chapters is the intensity of the novel.
It was super
like
intense. They
talked about it the first probably 200 and maybe 80 chapters, I would say. They talked about the beginning conditions of Liber when the 7th or when the 5th through 7th, or let's just say the first 7th reinforcements came, like how bad their conditions were. That was such a big point of the novel.
Yeah, it was so bad.
And that's why that was so important. They're like where they started from. Everybody who sacrificed to get to where they have now. Like a big part of the novel was them getting food, water, shelter. Yes. They said it a bunch of times.
Food, water, and shelter.
I think it took like over 150 chapters to get food, water, shelter.
Yeah, the amount of times we read they were eating dirt was crazy.
And then to just like get rid of all of that, I'm going back 6.5,
no,
bro.
You can't. It's not 6.5.
All right, fine, 7. But it really killed it. It really killed it for me. It really killed it. It really killed it. I'll stick to 7, guys. It's a good novel. Maybe stop at 517 or something like that. It's 522 chapters. Stop at like 517.
Think of your own ending.
Yeah, for real. For real. But yeah. It was I'm happy we got to the ending though.
Yes. I am reading some of the side stories. They're interesting.
All right. You gonna finish them?
I probably will.
All right. When they're finished, give us an update because I'm not touching it.
I'll let you know.
Okay. If they're worth it, I'll read it. But
I won't. I don't know if they're worth reading it. I think they're just not. They were not. I was just reading them because we weren't reading anything else.
Okay.
So if I'm reading something else, I'm probably not going to go back to it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So next week we're doing
Keyboard Immortal.
This is gonna be good.
We have so many chapters.
We have like 100 chapters, bro.
We're gonna be feasting, and I have a feeling we're not getting hooked this week.
Me either, bro. No, we've been saying that, but I think we're finally on the up.
I think we're gonna be on the up because where do we level again?
So, Zuan just came back from that parallel world. He killed the Emperor. Mm-hmm. He hits like level 75 or whatever level it is, 4, and it's basically he's at the Earth Immortal level, but not at peak. Oh, because peak is level 75.
Mm-hmm. I think peak is the peak. I think the ending of or max level 75 is peak.
Yeah. Max of level 75 is peak Earth Immortal. He's level 74. They just got back from the Secret World, and he's like the sole Earth Immortal that we know of at the moment. After like the prince died. What's his name? The Imperial Prince, not Imperial Prince. Zuan. Who's the Emperor again? Zhao Han. His brother.
Oh, because King Ki.
King Ki, he's dead. Zhao Han's dead. Basically, all the Grand Scholar, whatever, the state teacher. The state teacher's dead from the sect. He was like almost Earth Immortal. Like, basically, everybody big is dead, and like the Emperor's like dead. So they're like everybody's in shambles. They're like, what is happening? We have 90 chapters. Oh, it just hit 2,000 today. Keyboard Immortal just hit chapter 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. We're in for some good times. Wait, is it? Wait, that might be.
No, I think that's in total.
No, I think.
Like that's out, not like in Raws.
Yeah. So I think at the moment it's 1943 is what we can read up to. I think if you get the advanced tiers,
it's 2,000.
It's 2,000.
Still a lot.
Yeah. I remember when we started, we were like at 800.
Yeah, I was like, this won't be that long. And then
me either.
And then they just revealed a whole bunch of it. You're like, oh crap, this is gonna be long.
Yeah. Next week, guys, we got Keyboard Immortal coming up. It'll probably be around 100 chapters by the time we review it.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It'll be good. We not gonna hold.
We're not.
Unless somehow the novel ends in these next 100 chapters. Which is impossible. I think.
Yes, it is impossible.
Alright, yeah, it should be good. This has been episode 45.
Yes.
Of Light Now Fiends, guys.
I'm the biggest gamer.
Adam Moore.
Peace out.